With for sale signs popping up on what feels like every lawn and prices looking softer than they have in years, the signs are everywhere. They're undeniable. The great GTA housing correction isn't just a forecast anymore, it is here. But the headlines screaming about a crash are missing the real story. The question is no longer just how bad will it get. The really interesting question is, what will the recovery look like, and if it's even possible before the end of the decade? What I am going to show you today is the fundamental structure of this market has changed. For years, the GTA real estate market felt like a runaway train. Prices increasing, frantic betting wars, and that FOMO feeling that if you didn't buy right now, you'd be completely locked out of the market. Well, that era is over, and it ended not with a whimper, but with a reality check that is shaking the financial foundations of homeowners right across the province. Today, we're going to unpack the reality of this market shift. We will start with the hard data, the numbers that show you this isn't just a minor blimp. Then we will get into the real reasons why this downturn, moving past the simple headlines to show you what's truly at play. Finally, we will look into the future and ask the critical questions. What does the path to 2030 look like? And is there any light at the end of this very long tunnel? Let's get one thing straight. This isn't a cooling period. It's a major correction, and the numbers are telling. In the Greater Toronto Area, 2025 was a year of significant slowdown. 62,433 total sales for the year 2025 fell by 11.2% compared to 2024, and the average selling price of $1,067,968 dropped by 4.7% by December of 2025. The composite benchmark price, which represents a typical home, was also down by 6.3% from the year before. There were 186,753 new listings in 2025. That was up by 10.1%. Detached homes, semi-detached, townhouses, they all saw the prices dropping. But here's the detail that should make everyone pause. Inventory. The market is flooded with listings. This has created a level of choice buyers hasn't seen in over a decade. The power has completely shifted. The for sale signs are everywhere. The buyers are finally in the driver's seat. And then there's a condo market. This isn't just a turn down. It's undergoing a complete reset. Pre-construction condo sales have slowed down to a crawl, with the first quarter of 2025 sales in the GTA hitting the lowest point in decades, down 88% from the 10-year average. Developers are hitting the brakes, canceling projects or converting them to rentals because the buyers aren't there. With the wave of around 31,000 new condos completed in 2025 alone, this surge of supply is hitting a wall of weak demand. So, why is this happening? The answer is a perfect storm of punishing economy and a population base that is starting to shrink. First, the economy. Prediction of a modest recession have become a reality. With ongoing trade conflicts and high uncertainty grinding investments and hiring to a halt. Real GDP growth is expected to be slow, and most likely it could be negative. The unemployment rate in Ontario has shot up to 7.8% by mid-2025, a significant jump from the post-pandemic lows. In Toronto, the rate is even higher, hitting 8%. With the job creation expected to fall by thousands and the unemployment rate predicted to remain high by 2028, consumer confidence has been shattered. Households are delaying major purchases and carefully managing their spending, which means almost no one is confident enough to take a massive mortgage. Second, and perhaps the most dramatic shift, is the population decline. After years of growth, Ontario is now seeing people leave. Early data shows that Ontario's population saw its first quarterly decline since 2020, with the provinces seeing the largest population decrease in the country as in the third quarter of 2025. This is driven by a record level of people moving to other provinces like Alberta and a sharp drop in non-permanent residents like the international students. Since the start of 2020, over 400,000 people have left Ontario for other provinces or out of Canada. A recent survey shows that nearly 4 out of 10 Ontarians are considering leaving the province, all citing the unbearable cost of housing. This exodus isn't just reducing demand, it's a vote of no confidence in Canada's future. This combination is toxic for the housing market. A weak economy is forcing some homeowners to sell, while a declining population means there are fewer and fewer buyers to take their place. The fear of missing out has been totally replaced by the fear of holding a depreciating asset. Now, before we look at what the future holds, if you're getting some value from this breakdown and want to stay ahead of the curve on the Toronto real estate market, do me a favor. Hit that like and subscribe button and ring that notification bell. Things are changing faster than ever, and I'm here to give you the data-driven analysis you won't get from the headlines. And let me know in the comments below, are you seeing the shift in your neighborhood? Are the buyers waiting on the sidelines or the sellers feeling the heat? I read all of the comments. If you are thinking of buying or selling, contact me directly. This is the billion-dollar question. For anyone who owns a home or dreaming of owning one, the path forward is all that matters. And I have to be blunt, the expert forecasts aren't painting a picture of a quick bounce back. Anyone promoting a V-shaped recovery is selling a fantasy. Let's start with 2026. The consensus among forecasters is that this will be a year of continued pain, not a quick recovery. Think of it as the market trying to find the bottom after a major collapse. RE/MAX is forecasting a 3.5% price decrease for the Greater Toronto Area in 2026. The sales are expected to slowly rebound, dragging down by its massive supply, a weak job market, high inflation, and shrinking population. The key thing to understand for 2026 is that the rebound in the number of sales won't be necessarily meaning a rebound in prices. The sheer volume of homes for sale combined with the struggling economy will likely put a hard ceiling on any potential price growth. It will be a transition year, one where affordability might improve out of necessity, but it won't return to the boom times as we saw before. So what about the long road to 2030? While no one has a crystal ball for that far out, we can connect the dots. The Canadian Mortgage and Housing Corporation, CMHC, has projected that the return to previous peak prices level could take until 2030 or even beyond. This isn't a bounce back, it's a slow crawl. For a true recovery to happen, we need to see some fundamental shifts. The oversupply in the condo sector alone could take years to fully stabilize. The economic headwind from the trade uncertainty and a weak labor market needs to reverse. And most importantly, Ontario needs to stop bleeding residents and become a place where people want to move into, not from. This reinvention will take time. So, is a return to peak prices of 2022 possible before 2030? Based on the current trajectory and the deep economic and demographic issues at play, it seems like a very steep climb. The damage is deep, the inventory glut is very severe, and the economic pain is real. This isn't just a dip that a couple of rate cuts can fix. This is a generational reset. The Great Ontario Housing Correction is here. Prices have softened, sales activity has collapsed, and the number of homes for sale is at a level we haven't seen in many years. This shift is the direct result of a struggling economy and a shocking reversal in population trends. Job losses, economic uncertainty, and mass exodus of residents have crippled the housing demand, pushing the market in a full-blown crisis. The road ahead isn't short. 2026 looks like to be another year of decline, not a rebound, with many experts forecasting that the prices in the GTA could drop further. A true recovery, a return to healthy, sustainable growth is a prospect that may not fully materialize until 2029 or even later, and only if the provinces can fix its core economic and demographic problems. The journey to 2030 will be a long one, defined not only by a swift recovery, but by a slow and fundamental reinvention of the housing market in this province. The question I will leave you with this: is this the crisis we all feared, or is this a painful, necessary correction that Ontario desperately needed? Until next time, see you soon.